once more. Happy Thursday, happy Thursday. Welcome friends, welcome to class at Paulstutorialservices.com, and we are streaming live from Paul Yongo Facebook page. We continue to learn at Paulstutorialservices.com. We are doing a math lab today. We are doing a math and science lab today. So make sure you stay tuned and learn something. Have fun as you learn something new. Remember to always share what you learn from these lessons, from these tutorial services. Remember to share with your friends and relatives, and your peers, friends, relatives, and your peers at Paulstutorialservices.com. We also have additional learning resources that you can benefit from. So please remember to visit our website at Paulstutorialservices.com. Continue to follow my Facebook page, Paulstutorialservices.com, Paulstutorialservices.com. So we're going to continue venturing on, and we're looking forward to starting our YouTube channel. We are looking forward to starting our YouTube channel, and we hope that you continue to support us through being good followers, being good learners, being sharing, and being our candidates for tuition, being learners. We hope that you're going to enroll for classes and support the service. Also, we will be happy to receive any gift, any donation, any kind donation to support this service at Paulstutorialservices.com Facebook page, Paulstutorialservices.com Facebook page. So today we want to do a math lab, but before we do a math lab, let's venture into science, because science, we've been doing a little bit of math lately, so let's do a balancing scale. Let's do a balancing scale and do some science, and then as we go on, we're going to do math. We're going to continue with mathematics. So remember, it's the age, the digital age, and STEM is the way to go. STEM is the way to go. Sciences, technology, engineering, and mathematics. STEM, sciences, technology, engineering, and mathematics. STEM is what the future looks like. STEM is what the future looks like, and it is good for our young learners today to know about heredity and society. It's good to know about heredity and society. Yesterday I attempted, I don't know, something went wrong. I recorded a lesson. I should have been online today, but for some reason it did not post. So we're going to do a recap real quick of what we learned yesterday, and then we venture into math lab. So what I have on the whiteboard today is heredity and society. Heredity and society is the science of human life, the science of genetics. So let's just jump into it. Genetics is another way of saying biology. Genetics is the study of biology. So genetics is a term derived from the Greek. And the Greek philosophers used to refer to genetics as a discipline of the study of biology. Genetics is a discipline or the study of biology, So if most people know biology, most people just know it as biology, but biology is the study of living things. Biology is the study of living organism, and so that involves genetics. So the philosophers, the Greek philosophers, they were sophisticated people. They were very highly educated people. They were intellectuals. So they went all the way to call it genetics instead of just saying biology. They call it genetics. So we're going to see what is involved in genetics. So when we talk in genetics, in most cases now we are referring to the human beings, but you know genetics, when we talk about genetics, we also talk about plants. So we talk about animals and plants at the same time, living things. So now, before I venture into what is on the whiteboard, let's just say that genetics is from the ancient Greek. It's an ancient Greek word, and genetics is a discipline in biology. Genetics is a discipline in biology. Okay. So the determination so when genetics help us to determine the sex of a child. Genetics can help us determine the sex of a child. So, and also it helps us to do something that is called pre-implantation diagnosis. So with genetics you can diagnose. It helps us to do a diagnosis, and also it helps us to do something called sperm sorting. So all that is done through genetics. All that is done through genetics. Now when we talk about genetics, we have some problems also. So there are some problems that comes with genetics. So key such examples and key such problems or you can call them ethical issues. And most common ethical issue is that which we call abortion. Abortion is a key ethical issue when it comes to genetics problems. So abortions based on sex of offsprings. Abortion based on sex of offsprings is one such ethical issue problem. So another problem that we have when we talk about genetics is something called dilemma. So genetic dilemma is one such problem, and this involves the chromosomes. It's mostly in the chromosomes of the humans, in the chromosomes of people, of offspring. So we find that in most cases a female offspring has two X chromosomes. A female offspring have two X chromosomes, while a male offspring has an X and Y chromosome. A male offspring has X and Y chromosome. And then we have another dilemma. Which is XXY chromosomes. XXY chromosome. That causes a dilemma. So now, moving forward real quick. I'll come back to the XXY chromosome, but let us see. There's another dilemma. There's another dilemma or a syndrome associated with genetics under the ethical issues and genetic dilemma. There's another syndrome, and this is called androgen insensitivity syndrome. Androgen insensitivity syndrome, or AIS, and this is a diagnosis. This is when a person who is genetically male, okay, it happens when a person who is genetically male has one X and one Y chromosome, and is resistant to the male hormones called androgen. So that is the AIS, androgen insensitivity syndrome, and this is when a person has a person who is genetically male has one X chromosome, and then he also has one Y chromosome, and now he has one Y chromosome, but at the same time he is resistant to the male hormone, which is called androgen. So he's born a man, but he's also resistant to the hormone. Is his genetic makeup does not accept the androgen hormone, which is prevalent in males, So his genetic makeup resists the androgen hormone. So this causes what is called as androgen insensitivity syndrome. Androgen insensitivity syndrome. So that is a big dilemma that is involved in genetics. And now, as a result, the person has some or all of the physical characteristics of a woman. So you see now, when his genetic makeup resists the hormone which is supposed to be in male offspring, now as a result of that, he ends up having the characteristics of a woman. He ends up having characteristics of a woman, despite having the genetic makeup of a man, so he ends up having characteristics of a woman. So this, when this happens, it prevents the development of it prevents the development of the male reproductive organ. It prevents the development of the male in a reproductive organ and other male body parts, So the chances of this happening is 1 in 20,000. The chances of this happening is 1 in 20,000. So it rarely happens, but the chance of it happening is 1 to 20,000. Is 1 to 20,000. So that's a dilemma caused by the genetics. That's a dilemma. The XXY dilemma happens, but it is 1 in 20,000. It is 1 in 20,000. Please remember to share this video. This is happening right here live at Paulstutorialservices.com. Paul's Facebook page, Paul Yongo Facebook page, and then a recording will be posted at Paulstutorialservices.com Facebook page. So now another dilemma that we have when we talk about genetics is incomplete. So there's a dilemma that is called incomplete, and this may have male and female characteristics. Okay, so there are people who have both male and female characteristics. Don't want to go into much details about that, but there are people who have both male and female characteristics. So beside that, we have other problems such as psychological disorders, and these kind of disorders are associated with the genetic. They are mostly genetic based. The psychological disorders are in most cases genetic based. They are in most cases genetic based, and these like I have some right here on the whiteboard. We have like psychological disorders with genetic, and they are genetic based. So we have like schizophrenia. Schizophrenia is one such disorders, and in schizophrenia, in most cases, some people say it's a disease of the rich, but it's not necessarily a disease for the rich, but it's a genetic based disorder. And then we have a fragile X, and also we have generalized anxiety disorder. We have generalized anxiety disorder, and then we have other disorders that are associated with medical diagnosis. So we have medical disorders which are genetic basis, and these are disorders such as hemophilia, and we have color blindness, and then we have sickle cell disease. Yes. So you have sickle cell disease. So apart from that, the last item that I want to talk about is I'll just talk about them briefly, and then we close the science lab for today. Then we jump into the maths lab before we call it a day. So another aspect, another topic is we're going to look at the DNA, deoxynucleic acid, and this is a DNA element in the human beings. So after discussing what genetics means, is the study or the discipline of biology, and now let us see what we mean when we talk about so now the next topic is we're gonna discuss two topics, and then we call it a day, and we continue next time. So now we have under heredity and society, we are discussing DNA, a very important topic, and DNA is very important. It's related, it's an heredity, and it's related with society. So we use so DNA is used to determine paternity. DNA is used to determine paternity. So DNA is very important. If you want to know whether you are the father of a child, you go through a process of DNA. You go through a process of DNA to determine paternity, I wonder why they only said paternity, because paternity is raised, dependent on a man. I guess because the mother is always the mother, is always the mother, but now the father doesn't give birth, so we want to know who is the father. So if you want to know who is the father of your child, you go through the DNA process to determine paternity, and then also so number one, used to determine paternity, and then number two, DNA is used in crime solving. You want to make sure you convict the right person. You want to make sure you convict the right suspect, the right person. You don't just accuse anybody, but you want to make sure that you convict the right person. So it's used in crime. Solving. So DNA is very important in science, and is important in helping to determine the paternity of a child, and also is used in crime solving. Okay. Now that's it for DNA. That's it for DNA. So now another topic under this, another subtopic under heredity and society is the cell. So what is a cell? So for you to know what a cell is, you also have to know what something called a cell theory. You also have to know something called cell theory. So a cell, okay. So you want to know. So we got the cell, and then you want to know the theory. So you want to know cell theory, okay? And now when you talk about cell, cell is something that we all have. So all living organisms are composed of cells. All living organisms are composed of cells, okay? And we also there are two types of cell, okay? Cells are the basic structural functional unit of a life. So that right there is the definition of a cell. So cells are basic structural units. Cells are basic structural and functional unit of a life. So cells are very important because they are those units which help us. They help us to function. Okay, they help us for you to even be able to walk, to eat, to stand. So it is part of our build-up. It's part of our build-up. It's part of what has structured us. It structure the human being. So cells is structural in living organism. So it's not just human beings, but also animals and plants. Animals and plants have animals and plants have cells in them, and so cells are basic structural functional units of life. So cells are cells are basic, okay, structural human, no, not human, but the right word is basic structural and functional, okay, functional units, okay. Cells are basic structural functional units of life, okay. Cells are basic structural functional units of life. Cells are basic structural and functional units of life. Basic structural and functional units of life. Basic structural and functional units of life. That's what a cell is. That's what a cell is. And it's good to note that all cells come from pre-existing cells. Wow. All cells come from pre-existing cells. So you, as a father, you can transfer your cells to your offspring. You can transfer your cells to your offspring. So all cells come from pre-existing cells. So all living organisms are composed of cells. All living organisms are composed of cells. And examples of living organisms so all living organisms are composed of cells, and they have what is called nucleus. For an organism to be declared living, it's got to have what is called nucleus. So, with the exemptions of a virus is not a living organism. A virus is not a living organism because it does not have nucleus. It does not have nucleus. So viruses are not living organisms, okay? Viruses, so just put a side note somewhere that viruses are not living organisms, okay, because they do not have nucleus. They do not have nucleus. How do you write nucleus? Nucleus. They do not have nucleus, okay? They do not have nucleus. So now, so that means they cannot live without invading another organism. So viruses have to live in another living organism in order for them to survive. Okay, so they cannot do anything by themselves. So the viruses cannot do anything by themselves. So now that's something good to know. So two types of cells. So now, just before, just one more point to add about viruses. That's why we use masks. To prevent them to prevent the viruses from entering into our bodies, because left by themselves they cannot do anything. Viruses left by themselves, they cannot do anything unless they enter into other living organisms, unless it enters into another living organism. That's when they can do something. But left alone, the viruses, the COVID virus cannot do anything by itself unless you expose yourself to it without putting that mask. Then it's going to infect you and start damaging your body. But other than that, if you leave it alone, lock it outside by putting that mask, it is not going to affect you. It is not going to do anything by itself. So now, that's it for the virus. And now, let's just find out what are the two types of cells. So let's find out what are the two types of cells, okay? So let me erase all this. Good thing is we have this recorded. We can come back to it later to recap. Remember, at Paulstutorialservices.com, we will always save a video for you at Paulstutorialservices.com, and also at Paul Yongo Facebook page. There will be a video for you to watch later to help you recap and have fun as we do some learning, to help you recap and have fun as we do some learning. So now we're done with the DNA. We are exploring a little bit about cells, and now remember we have two types of cells. So two types of cells. Two types of cells, okay? Two types of cells. So now, the first type of cell is called eukaryotic cell. So eukaryotic cell, eukaryotic cell, okay? Eukaryotic cell is our number one. Let's find out what that means. So this kind of cell have a nucleus. This kind of cell have a nucleus, okay? So a eukaryotic cell has a nucleus. This kind of cell has a nucleus, okay? And then so now let's find out about another cell called prokaryotic cell. Okay. So we are remember we have eukaryotic. Now we're having prokaryotic cell. Now we are having a prokaryotic cell, okay? And what is the karyotic cell? The characteristics. So this kind of cells don't have true nucleus. So these kind of cells don't have. It doesn't have true. It has a nucleus, but it's not a true one. So it's just something that looks like a nucleus. So they call it. It's not a true nucleus. So they yet to find out what is it, because they're saying it doesn't have they do not have, this kind of cells do not have true nucleus, okay? And so now, remember I told you genetics is a term derived from the ancient Greek. Genetic is a term derived from ancient Greeks. Now, same as karyos. So the word karyo is eukaryotic. So the word karyo, this is not an English word, okay? It is a Greek word. So karyo, karyos. Karyos. By now, I think the way it's written sounds like a G, but it's a Y. So karyos, the word karyos right here, karyos, depending on how you pronounce it. I pronounce it as karyos. So karyos is a Greek word for nucleus, okay? So it means nucleus, okay? So in Greek, so this is Greek. Karyo is Greek word. So karyo is Greek word for nucleus. Karyo is Greek word for nucleus. All right. Karyo is Greek word for nucleus. Karyo is Greek word for nucleus, and remember I told you I wrote as 2 types of cell, but actually let's just say there are 3 types. I don't know why they don't really consider the red blood cells, but it is a cell, okay? So the third one would be red blood cells, okay? Red blood cells. Yeah, we hear that all the time. Red blood cells. Red blood cells is part of the 3 types of cells. And now, so now, this is this kind of cell does not have nucleus, okay? The red blood cells don't have nucleus. They don't have nucleus. So if you are asked to write characteristics of the 3 types of cells, so you will know that only eukaryotic cells have true nucleus, and then the prokaryotic cells do not have true nucleus. So I think they avoided to write the word fake. The fake, saying fake doesn't sound good. So you have to be modest. You have to be modest in your language. So you say they do not have true nucleus, as opposed to saying they have fake nucleus. So you have to be modest and sophisticated and say they do not have true nucleus. You talk as a sophisticated Greek. You can only learn this at Paulstutorialservices.com. Paulstutorialservices.com, where we make learning fun and enjoyable. So now, I think let us stop here. Let us stop with the red blood cells. Let us stop our science lab today by learning about the red blood cells, and next time we'll carry on. and learn about three main parts of an animal cell. Three main parts of an animal cell. Thank you for watching our Science Club. Thank you for watching this tutorial about Science Lab, and we discussed about heredity and society. Heredity and society. We explored about genetics, and we explored about genetic problems. We explored about ethical issues. We explored about dilemmas caused in genetics, and we learned about at least different types of chromosomes and the dilemmas that are there, and why we see some people saying they are both she and her, or he and she, and you found out about the XXY chromosome, the XXY chromosome. So let's stop there for today, and then we'll carry on with science next time. Stay tuned. Maths Lab coming soon. Maths Club coming soon. Stay tuned as we take a short break. Maths Club coming. Maths Lab coming soon, and then we call it a day. Paulstutorialservices.com is the website. Paulstutorialservices.com Facebook page is the website. Please like and share. Please follow us. Like and share. Please follow us. Like and share. Stay tuned for Math Lab coming up shortly after the short break.